Because if it's not about changing lives, it's not worth doing. Is that right?
Blessings come in different packages.
Collaboration over competition. I think we need more community over competition. That's enough for us all here to win.
With Black EXP Network, it's a safe space.
People that think like me, shared experiences.
Preparation for ownership, protecting our assets, and so that we can prosper.
One of the greatest things of being with EXP Realty is having multiple streams of income.
Let me tell you all, EXP Realty is the only brokerage that really allows an agent to build wealth for generations to come. People will have you to believe that EXP is a recruiting company, but statistical data, real live data, says only 18% of the 89,000 agents at our brokerage have one agent under them.
When I joined EXP, as you know, it is a virtual brokerage. So you're kind of just trying to figure out where your tribe is, where your community is. Through our online platforms, I found Black EXP Network, and at one of our events, I started to connect with people in person. And so from that, I've been able to establish relationships and build friendships, and it's like family.
If you're going to build an organization, you need to build from a place of servitude and giving.
So I'm here with Antoine Williams with 365 Sprints to assist us with helping with our movement to grow by giving us a platform with his website, with merch that will assist us in funding our educational and networking events for the Black EXP Network nationally and internationally. All right, so is it ready to go?
Yes, sir. The site is live. The site is ready to go.
I were to go
Black EXP. Yes, sir.
BlackEXP.com.
.com. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right. So I see we have t-shirts. I see we have hoodies. Do you think we're going to have in the future coming maybe some caps, some cups, anything else?
Oh man, we're going to have lanyards. We're going to have hats, beanies, cups, coffee mugs. If you can think of it, we're going to put Black EXP on it. Yes, sir.
Well, I love that.
Sir.
So for those that are watching right now, if you have any ideas, man, apparently Antoine said he can get it on here. So
absolutely.
We can do this.
Yes, sir.
So Antoine,
absolutely.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you helping us with our cause and this movement for Black agents. Well, thanks again, and look forward to working with you.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
One practice that I actually coach is if you want to be on social media, and this is for everybody, not just high eyes. You want to be on social media, but you're like, oh my gosh, I'm afraid to get on this camera. If you have a phone, I challenge you. Maybe this is homework, Michelle, for everybody. I challenge you to do this. I challenge you to bust out your phone and do this 3 times a day. To people who know, like, and trust you, like for real, like they love you. Like if they saw you across the street, they run across the street to engage you. All you do is you take out your messaging app. You record a quick 10 to 15 second video. Hey, XYZ, I was just thinking about you. I hope that you have an amazing day. And then hit send. No filters. No, don't go back and redo it because you said something funny. I promise you, if you do this, you will start to boost your confidence. And then what happens is you'll see how engaged people are. If you send that quick 10, 15 second video, I swear by it. Truly, I do. I do this every day. That's part of my daily operating. Those are the things that I do on a daily basis. So push past your fear. If you're afraid to be on video, do that. Start there. 3 videos a day.
Get ready for the most talked about event of the year, the Black EXP Network Mega Yacht Party. This isn't just a party, it's an experience. Step aboard a luxury mega yacht, surrounded by top agents, industry leaders from across the country, and Black excellence, baby. Network, celebrate, and vibe. From the moment you step on deck, you'll know this is where luxury meets legacy. Limited pre-sale tickets will be opening soon, so don't wait. These will go fast. Mark your calendar and stay tuned, because this is one night you don't want to miss.
Well, good day, everyone. It is your favorite MBA Realtor. How is everyone doing today? We are in the month of August. You already know. Put it in the chat where you guys are tuning in from. Where are you guys at? I am in New Jersey, and it is a whole hot 94 degrees today. Woo! And I'm loving it, though, y'all. My island blood is loving it. So where are you guys chimed in from? I see Florida is here. Do I see Ohio is in the house? Wow. Welcome, Ohio. Welcome. That is a first. Welcome, Ohio. We got Georgia in the house. Thank you to my Georgia family. Welcome to my Georgia family. Who else we got? We got Detroit. Wow. Come on, Detroit. Come through. Come through. I am so excited to be here today. I see Texas is in the house. How you guys doing? I got another New Jerseyan. Hello from New Jersey. Thank you for joining me today. Michigan is in the house. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. Listen, I need you guys to do me a quick favor, right? Because we got to get these numbers up. Send the link to someone that you know that's in real estate that can benefit from this training today. We all are in this together, right? This NAR whole entire thing that has affected our lives starting last year, it's all affecting us now. Send it to a realtor that you know that could really get some information here, because we got somebody phenomenal that's going to pour into you guys. So who else we got in the building today? I'm going to give y'all a few minutes. I need to see my numbers come up here. I see some Florida again. Okay. Who else we got here? Houston. Hey, Houston. Welcome, welcome. We got Texas is in the house. We got Atlanta is in the house. Good to see you guys here today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Who else we got here? We got, that's it. We ain't got nobody else. And oh, Charlotte. I miss Charlotte. There we go. Charlotte, North Carolina. Welcome, welcome. I need to see like 2 or 3 of y'all from each state in the building. Do you know how many people we could get in the room if y'all were to really join and share this message with more people that you may know here? And, you know, here at Black EXP Network, we're all about collaboration, right? It's about collaboration over competition. And we want to know everyone in any real estate brokerage can join this tribe training. So if you're at any brokerage, you don't have to be here at EXP. We're here to pour into you and really join forces together so that we can close the wealth gap. That's our mission, right? So welcome everybody, and thank you for joining us today on our second Tuesday here in August. We are going to jump right into our training today because, I mean, you know, I want to hear from you guys real quick. You know, with the NAR settlement, how has it impacted your business? Put it in the chat for me. How has it impacted your business, the NAR settlement? Tell me, has your business thrived? Do you feel more confident? Are you confused? Or are you about to say, forget this whole real estate industry, I'm about to go find another occupation? Which one is it, huh? Are you thriving? Oh, I got Alabama's in the house. Okay. Are you guys feeling more confident? To be honest with you guys, I feel more confident in anything. You know, I got my real estate license back in 2018, and it was a buyer's market at that time, right? Now here in New Jersey, we're still in a seller's market, I will say. And, you know, it gave me a pay raise, y'all. So if you know how to work this whole entire NAR thing and understand your value as a realtor and the things that you can bring to your clients that sets you apart from any other realtor, you would understand that this settlement just gave you a pay raise. So I see somebody said they are more confident. Yep. What else? Anybody out here confused, don't know what to do, ready to throw in the towel and say, you know what, I'm done. Anybody out there like that? It's okay. We all family. It happens. And what I'm hoping that you get out of this training today is the confidence that you will need to make more money. See, somebody said definitely making more money. See? You just got to know what to do with it, right? Just know what to do with this whole NAR settlement. It's okay, y'all. We here for it all. So are y'all ready to learn? Because we're going to give you some strategies here You know, we're going to do a 1 year in review with NAR. We're going to give you some strategies and things that you could potentially implement into your business. You know, are you confident when you're speaking to your clients about NAR and what you need to do to be able to get paid, period? You know, whether it's from the buyer side or the seller side, however way you do it, are you confident enough to say, this is what my value is, this is what my worth is, and this is what I charge? Say it with your chest, okay? Say it with your chest. That's all I gotta say. All right. So I am going to bring up our next guest, right? Coming up next, we have a powerhouse leader in real estate. Like, she's a phenomenal woman. We have Miss Loran Coleman. Loran is the vice president of our U.S. brokerage operation here at eXp Realty. Yeah, she's one of the big dogs, y'all. She drives the national strategy and operations for one of the fastest growing brokerages in the world. Did I mention to y'all that was eXp? Yeah. With over 20 years of experience, Loran has led and supervised brokerages, right? Overseeing over 2,000 licensees. She's elevated the industry through ethical leadership, agent development, and operational excellence. I want you guys to give Loran a warm welcome. We are so grateful to have you here, Loran. Thank you for blessing us with your presence.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you. Appreciate love. And thank you for inviting me here to be with Black eXp Network. I do have some merch on or whatever, y'all, so you can see it a little bit. But yes, definitely excited to talk to you guys about winning post the NAR settlement. Now, I don't know, how do I get let me see. I'm ready to put my presentation up. We have that? Okay, there we go. Okay, perfect. Okay, so for one, before I jump in, you see the QR code. Go on and scan that QR code so that you have access to a document that has links to all of the other QR codes that I'm going to provide throughout the presentation. And you're free to scan those codes as well. But if you just want it all neat in one document, go on and take the time to scan that QR code. But yes, I am, and thank you again, Michelle, I am responsible for helping to run the brokerage side of eXp operations here on the U.S., ultimately ensuring, along with your wonderful state broker teams, that you, our agents, have what you need to be successful in this industry, whether it be tools, resources, the education you need to navigate through all of these changes, like what we did last year for NAR. And here you are today, well educated. I love seeing those comments that you're confident and having those conversations. I love one of the comments they said, it's just new forms, same practice, you know, and for many markets, buyer broker agreements, buyer agency agreements were already being utilized, just like in my market. I'm in the Kansas City, Missouri area, right in the middle of the country. Chiefs fan, you know, for all those fans or haters out there, whichever way you want to go. But for some markets, they didn't use buyer broker agreements, so it was an adjustment for them. Either way, with all the different changes, we were able to educate you guys and lead the industry, honestly, when it comes to how you navigate through NAR. So when it comes to being plugged into your broker teams, just like it was important last year, it's always important because we're always going through different changes, especially right now with the state of, you know, the economy, the U.S., our world. There's a lot going on. So you have to remain agile in order to remain successful in this industry. And that's what we're going to talk about even more today. But and actually, speaking of winning after NAR, I do want to touch on how eXp is doing and how we're performing when it comes to being and operating in this challenging market. And when I say eXp, I really mean you guys, because we wouldn't be able to hit these numbers if it wasn't for you with boots on the ground, working hard, closing those deals, working with your clients, and representing eXp well. So when you look at this is information from our Q2 earnings. So when we look at the year-over-year data, this year, our agents' sales transactions increased by 4% per agent on average. We saw a 4% increase when we compare 2025 to 2024. We also saw an improved agent attrition rate by 22% year over year. So our ability to retain our agents. Also in Q2, when we look at year over year data with our 1.3 billion in revenue, that increased by 1%. And then likewise, we also saw another 1% increase in our sales volume when we looked at the year over year data with the $52.5 billion. And of course, as you already know at eXp, we're always generous, like when it comes to our rev share program, for instance, but we're always sharing our profits and our success. And so we also distributed $32.6 million to our shareholders in buybacks and dividends in Q2. So overall, we're seeing a lot of success, and we did see some decrease in our agent count year over year, but the fact that our transactions per agent has increased by 4% on average, that shows that the agents that we may lose, those tend to be agents that are not producing as well, and the agents that we're gaining are producers. So it's good all around. If you close, and I know the market is a little different now. It seems to be changing all the time. Maybe you're not making as many sales as you did last year, and in some cases, a lot of people are doing more. They are improving in their transaction count. But even if you're seeing maybe a slowdown, if you close at least one deal in the past 12 months, then that puts you in the top 50% of agents nationwide. So do give yourselves a pat on the back for accomplishing that in this unpredictable market. And speaking of the market being unpredictable, when it comes to market conditions, even the industry is challenged when trying to best predict what the market will do. So when you look at the median home prices, for example, and the reason I'm highlighting median home prices is because the NAR lawsuit basically, it found NAR, or the industry, guilty of artificially inflating home prices, indicating, trying to assume that our broker commissions was the main reason why home prices had increased so much, when that makes no sense. I mean, we all know that what determines the market or dictates the market is supply and demand, not our agent commissions. Either way, with regards to median home prices, Redfin's economists, they predicted that we'll see a 1% decline in median home price by the end of 2025. But then you have Zillow saying that they expect to predict, a 2% decline. But then on the other hand, you've got, Dr. Loran Yoon, NAR's chief economist, predicting that we'll see a 1% increase in the median home price by the end of 2025. So that's pretty much like a 3% point spread when it comes from the highest to lowest on the forecast. At the end of the day, we'll see who's correct at the end of the day, but everything is up in the air. Even the experts are having a hard time trying to figure out what's going to happen, because at any point something can be said by leadership in our country, or policies can be changed, can be reinstated that will impact not just our lives, but impact our industry, whether it be directly or indirectly. And I also wanted to kind of highlight, for example, earlier this year, NAR, they had predicted that we would see a 9% increase in home sales by the end of 2025. That was a very bullish, prediction. And then over time, because of all the different unprecedented, unpredictable changes that had occurred in the economy and in our world and in our country, they had to lower that prediction to 6%. And then eventually had to lower it to 3%. So right now, NAR is estimating that we'll see a 3% increase in home sales by 2025. Hopefully we don't see any more adjustments in that. If we do see some adjustments, they're increases versus decreases. But at the end of the day, the market is unpredictable. And I also wanted to share too, real quick, NAR has a new tool out, and I'll give you some access to that later on in the presentation. But they also predicted that if mortgage rates drop to 6%, then NAR can expect, or the industry can expect, to bring on 550,000 more home sales within the next 12 to 18 months. And that's overall like a 14% increase in home sales in 2026. Now, and that's amazing, and I hope that definitely does happen. Their tool that they provide, which I'll provide a link to later on in the presentation, you can actually break that down by your market and see what your market would look like if mortgage rates were at 6%. Right now, mortgage rates are hovering around 6 point, and when I say mortgage rates, I mean the 30-year mortgage, fixed mortgage rate, hovering around 6.63%. When it comes to the federal government dropping those rates even more to where it is at that 6%, we'll see how that goes, because they are looking at the inflation rates, right? And as long as inflation rates or cost of goods, remains high, and right now inflation rate is around 2.7%, 2.8%, which is over the federal government's goal of 2%. The federal government's going to remain cautious when it comes to lowering the rates too much. I mean, they'll still continue to tweak it, up or down by a few basis points, but they're going to be very cautious in it, because again, we just don't know it's hard to predict what's going to happen in the U.S. and in the world. And we're already starting to see the impact that tariffs, are having on the cost of goods. I was talking to some coworkers just the other day about how, this past weekend was their time where they like to go and do their grocery shopping, like their big monthly grocery shopping. And one of the coworkers has like a 4-person family, right? 2 adults and 2, big teenagers. And another one of my coworkers is a 2-person family, like no kids. And for the 4-person family, they're accustomed to their large groceries, their big monthly grocery outing being about $500, right? This time when they went out to go grocery shopping and didn't do any extra frills or anything like that, their bill came up to $750. And then same thing with the smaller family, with a 2-person household. Typically when they do their big grocery shopping, their bill is around $250, $275. And this time around, they went grocery shopping and did not buy meat, and their bill ended up being $350. So, we're already seeing the impacts that tariffs are having on the cost of goods when it comes to inflation. So, at the end of the day, if those inflation rates aren't coming down, it'll be harder to justify if we can get to 6% at the end of the year. But you just never know. You really never know, because something can be said or done that changes that outlook. Experts are even saying that the tariffs could add 0.3 to 0.5% points to the inflation rate during the second half of this year, which is what we're in right now. That would bring the inflation rate from 2.7% up to like 3%, well over the federal government's goal of 2%. So we'll see what happens. Again, you just never know, because mortgage rates right now, they started off at the beginning of the year, started off at 7.09%. And now we're at 6.63%. So that's good news. That kind of information, you don't hear that being publicized as much. You only hear about the bad things, and that type of information and that news does impact buyers or the public, believing whether or not that they can afford to buy a home, or is this the time to buy, or sellers, is this the time to sell? The interest rates, I'm waiting for the interest rates to get lower. It's like, we're not going to see that 2, 3, and 4% interest rates anymore, right? Being at 6.63% is good right now. And it could get lower, but it could increase. So whenever people are wondering, like, when is the right time to buy or sell, like, it's always the right time to buy or sell. If you're wanting to move, needing to move, go on and make that move. But it's important for us as agents to be knowledgeable about what's going on in the industry so that we can properly communicate that to our family, friends, co-workers, community members, basically our future clients. So continue to do what you're doing. Don't put your head in the sand and ignore what's going on, because you need to be able to, communicate confidently with potential clients on what's going on. But don't get so distracted that you feel like, oh, I can't do this, right? Because you definitely can. You obviously are, because the numbers for EXP are looking great. So now, when it comes to the NAR settlement, 1 year later, right? The anniversary is coming up on August 17th. And when it comes to the NAR antitrust lawsuits, again, NAR in the industry was found guilty of artificially inflating home prices. Clients were claiming that there was lack of transparency, that they were unaware of what, their agents were getting paid. Sellers didn't know that they could negotiate the commission that they're paying to a broker, which is crazy. Of course you can negotiate. Everything's negotiable. The home buying process is negotiable. So there's no difference when it comes to the agent commissions. And that's easy to communicate to, potential clients that maybe have some concern, if they're even knowledgeable about, what went on with the NAR settlement and things of that nature. But at the end of the day, when it comes to the impact of, and honestly, even with what brought this on, it's always about the money, right? the DOJ and the class action litigators have stated in different articles that ultimately the whole purpose of this is that they wanted to see broker compensations cut in half. And, the settlement resulted in, agreements to make some changes in the industry, right? Around, requiring a buyer broker agreement to be signed prior to showing a property, buyer compensation being removed from the MLS, and, buyer compensation being more definitive figure, right? Or as the lawsuit stated, objectively ascertainable, right? And there were definitely many assumptions, many fears looming at the very beginning, thoughts that it would be the end of the buyer's agent, or that commissions would be drastically decreased, overall. But in reality, and then also just based on some of the comments we were seeing today, even beginning of this meeting with Michelle, reality is it kind of helped boost. So when I say like buyer's agents 2.0, it did help to take buyer's agents business practices to the next level. I remember, and it still happens today, agents will complain about buyer's agents because sometimes buyer's agents, and you should be a buyer's agent and listing agent, service all of the public, right? But sometimes, buyer's agents can get a bad rep of not being knowledgeable, being inexperienced, not doing as much. And so this did help to boost that professionalism or that professional level. Having to require a potential client to sign a document before they step foot into the property. I know a lot of agents have applauded that in the sense that it helped to deter, certain prospects or looky-loos, people who aren't really serious about buying a house, but they just want to get into the home. It's saved you from wasting a lot of time because they're not willing to sign an agreement just to look at a home if they're not serious, right? And overall, when you look at news articles out there, that have been published, and even assess your own business, we're finding that, broker compensation overall stabilized, in the sense that in some markets, we saw overall like an average. In some markets, you saw slight increases in broker compensation. In other markets, you saw a slight decrease in broker compensation. Nothing drastic either way, on either side of the fence. Another thing, when it comes to the DOJ or the litigators, they wanted to see more variety in the way commissions were charged or broken down. Like there were things thrown out like, hey, agents having hourly rates and things like that. We're not seeing, any of that. So again, the change was for the better. You either go with it, you either are agile with your business, because real estate is no different than any other business. When changes come, you need to be able to flow with the changes and take those opportunities, capitalize on those changes, because there are going to be people that are like, you know what, I'm just not willing to do it. I'm going to get out of the industry. And, that's okay too. I mean, it's not there's plenty of us to go around. There's plenty of business out there. We don't need to be competing in that sense. But at the same time, if you're not willing to do the job, there's plenty of people who are ambitious enough who definitely are and want to take on that challenge. Okay, so success. When it comes to ensuring your success or being or remaining successful in the market, it's all about the professional services that you provide, right? Because the public sentiment for agents, even with AI and all the different talks and stuff coming, will we be replaced? Can AI get licensed? You'd be surprised. I know you're probably thinking like, what? These are real conversations that are actually happening right now, where it's just like, what a real estate commission. And I'm a commissioner for the real estate commission in my state. And these conversations are coming up where it's like, in not just the real estate profession. What is it? There were some sightings in the medical field and the legal field as well. Would they allow an AI bot to get licensed? Because they can answer the questions. But at the end of the day, I mean, it takes a human. So lots of different interesting conversations going out there. I won't get off topic because I can talk about AI for a while, and I want to I'll stay focused. But when it comes to the public sentiment, the public still understands the need for a professional, right? A professional licensed individual to help assist them in the most likely the largest purchase that they'll ever experience in their life, right? But they are remaining cautious. And I say that in the sense that, we are seeing some just slight increases in like frivolous complaints from the public. because of maybe what they've heard, about the NAR lawsuits or what they see in the news. Trust is everything. Building trust is everything when it comes to servicing your clients. If they don't trust you, it's going to be a difficult transaction. If they trust you, it's going to be a lot easier, but you have to earn that trust, build that trust, and keep that trust, right? Because you can easily lose it in the midst of a transaction. And I'm sure you guys are all aware of that. But, we could account the increase in, and when I say frivolous complaints, I mean making complaints, filing complaints that they feel is a violation, but isn't really, right? And that increase could also be because of technology and AI. It is a lot easier to quickly research if you're mad at your agent or whatever, to quickly, go to ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever you utilize to see how do you file a complaint against an agent. And with online services and things like that, it makes it a lot easier. So, but again, just know, us industry leaders that, or decision makers, things like that, if it's frivolous, it's thrown out. But just know that the public is more apt to do that a little bit right now. So you want to be careful. You want to make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's with the way that you conduct business. And being proactive in your communication is vital. That buyer consultation, that sets the expectations of the process up front so that they know what to expect, right? It's also your opportunity to sell your value. So, when you're talking about how you have to fill out this form before we can show a home, and when you're talking about what you decide to charge for your services, for what you bring, the value that you bring to the table, and then them ultimately agreeing to it. Because even when it comes to the conversation, for anybody that may be having a hard time with the conversation, I would say it even in the beginning, it reminded me of the conversation that I would have. And I'm in a market that had buyer broker agreements or buyer agency agreements. And there was always a point when I was going over that agreement with my potential buyers where I would discuss, hey, what happens if my buyer is interested in a FSBO, a for sale by owner property, right? In a lot of cases for sale by owner, the seller is not willing to pay the buyer broker compensation fee, right? And so I would say, like, hey, just know, typically, the seller will cover, what I charge for the buyer side. But if you want to if you're interested in putting in an offer and you end up buying a FSBO, there's a chance that seller's not going to pay my commission. And so then that you're going to be responsible for what I charge. And that conversation always went really well. I've honestly never had anybody say like, oh, I have a problem with that. And then when the situation did occur, had no problem paying it and we moved forward. So if you kind of think of it in that sense, if you're having struggles with it, because we are getting lots of feedback that agents are a lot more comfortable with the conversation. And I hope that that helped to come from our broker teams, our brokers at EXP, that we've helped to train to help you to be fully prepared for the changes that occurred with the NAR settlement, right? When it comes to providing regular updates, so that's why I mentioned how, building that trust is important, but you could also lose it along the way when you have missteps, right? If your clients have to request or follow up with you, to get copies of their documents or, additional information, then you may have missed an opportunity when it comes to delivering exceptional service, right? But the good news is that with every interaction that, it offers an opportunity to turn the situation around and leave with a lasting positive impression on your clients or really your future referral sources, right? Because those are the best referrals or those previous clients. And of course, keeping up on top of your documentation, both contract-wise, but also communication-wise, especially if you have a difficult client. Sometimes those communications are best stated via text or in writing to minimize any misunderstandings or future claims, especially when dealing with difficult clients. That has helped to get a lot of our agents out of some hot water in the past. So just another little tip there. Okay, definitive fees and transparency, right? So a big part of the lawsuit centered around, broker fees being definitive, right? It can't be a range. It can't be open-ended in any way, right? And that's something that our broker teams look at and review very closely because that's a big piece of the lawsuit. So, for example, all the green check marks, 4%, of the sales price, that's a definitive figure. You can calculate that and know exactly what a buyer can calculate that and know exactly what they owe the brokerage, right? $5,000, it's very clear. Even this one, 3% resale, 4% new construction, and 750 for properties under under a $50,000 purchase price. This is all definitive. So, and this is in one buyer broker agreement, because maybe you're saying like, well, what if it's a new construction? I charge more for that. Put it in the contract. It's very definitive. Now you may be saying like, well, wait a minute, you said under $50,000. That sounds like a range. That's a range in the price of the property, not a range in your fee, right? So your fee is $750. They know that, your client knows that if it's under $50,000, it's $750. You may want to, if it's over 50,000, you can assume it's 3% or 4%, based on the, if it's new construction or not. Those are all definitive figures. What doesn't work is saying something like whatever the seller is offering. That doesn't work. That's open-ended, right? We don't know what that's going to be. Up to 10%, that's a range. What's going to determine, whether you charge the buyer 10,000 or 5,000 or 1,000, 2% to 5%. That's a range. It doesn't work. 2,500, 5,000. You get the point. So those are some big keys to it. And this QR code gets you to our EXP FAQs form. That gives you access to our EXP forms if you need to utilize them, because we created a number of EXP forms for those areas that have MLSs and associations that we're really dropping the ball when it comes to providing our agents with the forms that they need to do business. So these are optional to use, but then it's also frequently asked questions on, how to fill that contract out and more detailed information. And I do want to give a little shout out to the broker team. Later this month, your broker teams are going to have 1 year after NAR training classes that go into detail and focus specifically on your local state market when it comes to conducting business, staying compliant with NAR, and any questions, feedback, pain points, wins, or whatever that you want to share. So you definitely want to be on the lookout for those classes that are coming up at the end of this month. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Okay, when it comes to another big piece. When it comes to winning post NAR, it's always, and honestly, whether it's post NAR or before or whatever, it's always important to be viewed as the local expert to your friends and families and community members, right? Ultimately, they're, like I've said before, they're your next buyers, they're your next sellers. Now, of course, when it comes to being that expert, having access to those stats, being able to communicate that confidently to your sphere of influence. The MLS has always been a great resource, your local MLS. They have reports that you can pull and run on a regular basis. But also just wanted to highlight, and I mentioned it earlier, NAR, they have this new tool. It's NAR's Metro Market Statistics. They released it about a month ago. So you do have to, when you scan the QR code, it'll send you to the link. You do have to log in with your NAR. So your National Association of Realtors login credentials. You enter in your city or whatever city you want to look into, and it will give you all kinds of stats and metrics. So for example, like the impact of lower rates and predicting how many more homes that'll add to your market, to your specific market in 2026. So just like I was able to quote that information earlier, you put in your city, like put in Kansas City, Missouri, it'll let me know that, hey, if interest rates were to drop to 6%, this is how many more homes this is a prediction. This is how many more home sales would be available in my market through 2025 and through 2026. It also provides information on housing affordability stats, demographics, you name it. So go on and definitely, if you haven't already played with that tool, you definitely want to check it out, because it'd be a great resource and another way to communicate your expertise, show off your skills, whatever, to anybody that you interact with. And then also effective research strategies. So when it comes to your buyers and affordability, everybody's complaining, no matter what their price point is, how much your buyer makes, first-time home buyers, second-time home buyers, with inflation rates, the federal government cutting different programs, and then reinstating those programs, maybe partially or fully. There's a lot of changes going on. And so it's good to still stay abreast of what the federal programs that are out there. But this is also a very good opportunity to look in and hone in on your local housing programs that can provide resources to your buyers to help them be able to purchase a home. right? And the easiest way to do that, you'd be surprised. Normally, I would provide like specific links, even on the federal programs. But again, things are changing so much. Something could happen tomorrow and then the information is outdated. But same for you when it comes to you building your like an updated resource list of resources for your buyers. You want to make sure that you're double checking that. You can easily like create your list and then just throw it in a ChatGPT every so often to check to see if it's still up to date. It can update it for you. So that's like a quick little tip so it doesn't take you too much time. But if you go to any search, you don't have to use AI or ChatGPT for this. You can just go to a Google search, type in city, county name, and housing assistance, city, county name, down payment program, state and housing finance agency. You'd be surprised in how many different programs will pop up when you put this information in on your local level. So again, it's important to be seen as that expert. Lots of great resources out there. Okay, and we're it's funny, Michelle, behind the scenes we were talking about with her going to Inman and the importance of networking, and that is truly important. I know there's some introverts out there. I'm usually on the cusp, like an omnivert, right? But it is important to get out there and network. That's a good referral base as well. When I was actively selling on a regular basis, I didn't have to pay for any leads because I was actively involved in my church, actively involved PTA president, ran for school board, all these things. Now, these are all things that I was naturally interested in. I didn't do it for the leads. The leads just came as a byproduct because of it. So it is important that whatever group you decide to join, that it's something that you're naturally interested in, because you could always, I know I could, you can always peep out those ones that are only there. Like maybe it's a good cause or whatever, but they're really only there for the networking or for the leads. And that doesn't usually work out well. Again, you want to do something that you're genuinely interested in, whether it be an industry type association, the local realtors association, that's always easy. Chamber of Commerce, business networks, community involvement, like PTA, school organizations, faith-based groups, volunteer organizations, sport leagues and recreational clubs. I didn't put it on there, but fraternities and sororities, like whatever you're passionate about that gets you out there networking with other people and building your client base. And then, of course, EXP networks, right? You want to leverage the one EXP groups like Black EXP Network. Looking forward to, and I hope to see all of you guys at EXPCon in October. Looking forward to the, what was it? I think it was the Black Velvet was what was chosen for the yacht party for Black EXP Network. So looking forward to having a good time with that. But it's not just about, going out and having fun and just talking to people or having like surface level conversations, right? Especially when it comes to EXP and you get to know agents that are outside of your local market. EXPCon is a great opportunity to meet other agents in different markets. Maybe you're the only one. Like I rarely bump into people unless I know them, but I rarely bump into people that are from the Kansas City, Missouri market when I go to EXPCon or Inman's or other nationwide conferences. And so in that case, you get to know them, exchange business cards. If they have a client that's moving from their local area to the Kansas City market, they'll have my information, reach out to me and refer that business to me. I know at EXPCon, there's certain groups that are known for passing out certain merch that it's kind of gotten a reputation. And I'm thinking specifically of one in Georgia, and they no longer have to purchase leads just based on the referrals that they get from people relocating to their area, from the connections that they've made from agents that are not in their area. So networking is vital. Now, the state and national AACs, you've probably heard of this, and AAC stands for the Agent Advisory Councils here at EXP. And this is this QR code is, so let's say you're not interested in joining or being on a representative of your state AAC, right? Or the national AAC, that's fine. But let's say you have an idea that you feel would help improve or take EXP to the next level within your state. Or maybe you have a suggestion that would help impact the company-wide. If you access that information, click on the form for your state or click on the form for national, share your idea, the state team or on the national, which I'm over the national, we're responsible for digging into that, researching it, see if it's something that we can make happen. If it's a great idea, we'll move forward with it. Doesn't mean it'll happen tomorrow because there's a process to everything, but we want to hear those ideas. If you're seeing some things in your states that, concerns you and you're like, hey, I think we need to make some changes. All those suggestions are very much warranted and desired. We know you have the NPS where you can give us feedback, but if you want to reach out to your AAC, and so like Michelle, for instance, she's a member of the New Jersey AAC. So if you're in the New Jersey area and you have a concern or what have you, and maybe you don't want to talk to the broker state team, that's okay. But of course, your broker state team is there to help support you as well. You can reach out to her and voice your concern, or you can just fill out the New Jersey AAC form and it'll populate, and the team will be responsible for digging into it and seeing how they can best assist you. So that's really important. And if you're interested in the AAC, because again, those connections, those are important. Those are seen as leadership roles within EXP for our agents. If you're interested on a state level, those applications tend to open up in the springtime. I'd say February, March. Goodness, I don't know why I can't think of that. So February, March. And when it comes to the national AAC, those applications tend to open up around October, November or so for the beginning of the year. So just want to make sure that you guys are aware of that. So that way the representation is there, and just want to make sure your voices are heard when it comes to any kind of concerns or anything that you want to share to help improve the company. And then I already mentioned with the events and the referrals. Lastly, I want to just highlight the importance of financial literacy. So I've already taught this class and it's available on the YouTube channel, so that QR code gets you access to it. I think it's fair to say that when it comes to financial literacy, not just for agents, but for our family members, communities in general, with inflation, prices being higher, family incomes, it's whether you're, have your own business because you're an independent contractor, or you have a W-2 income, or a combination of both. Of both of them. Revenue flowing in is becoming increasingly difficult to keep up with the rising costs and living expenses, which is why I found it very important to teach on this course, Dollars and Discipline, Build a Financial System that actually works. So after watching this, you'll walk away with action steps and resources to formulate and meet your wealth goals. So definitely want to make sure, take the time to watch it whenever you can, or forward it on to family members, friends, because financial literacy is very important. It's important to help and improve individuals' financial situations without necessarily them having to bring in extra income, right? So it's helping them to manage their funds better so that they have more resources that they can then invest. Let me say this too, and I say it a lot throughout the presentation, I am not providing financial advice, or anything like that, or stock advice or anything like that. But if you've been paying attention, I'm sure you're also aware that stock prices tend to be a lot lower right now. So, if you have that disposable income to invest towards things like that, and you definitely want to make sure that you research, it could be a very good opportunity. Again, just like with the NAR settlement changes, it changed the practices. Some people decided they want to get out. Some people saw it as an opportunity to gain more business, and that is happening for a lot of people. So whenever there's some struggles, whenever there's tension, a lot of people, or I feel like a lot of us like-minded individuals, see those as opportunities to get ahead. And you definitely want to take care of every opportunity that comes your way. So that's all I have to share with you when it comes to winning post-NAR. There's lots of opportunities out there. Don't let the noise out there distract you or make you feel as though, this is something that you need to walk away from. Just be agile, be willing to change, and be agile in your business, and you will succeed in whatever you do. Always pivot, no matter what obstacle comes, just like with the federal programs, they're being cut. Fine, cool. Let me shift more to local. There's always another way, another strategy to succeed and get ahead. So thank you for having me. Hey, Michelle. Sorry. Okay, there we go.
You're good. That was amazing, Loran. Thank you. Thank you for that. NAR has taken us on a bit of a roller coaster, but as long as you know how to navigate through it, we're able to do this. It is definitely an industry that people have to like, know, and trust, right? Us. And like you said, the transparency of what we need to do for our clients so that they would be comfortable, right? Feel comfortable with signing a BRA agreement. I mean, I love the fact that they have to sign a buyer's representation agreement before I take them out. We're not here to just look at pretty houses. No.
You mean I just want to like house shop. I don't really want to buy. You're not okay with that?
No.
Yeah.
You're welcome to go to open houses. That's what I tell clients.
Here we go. Love that. And that's a good one. And again, really pushing forth that whole point about confidence. Even if you're talking to somebody who's trying to sell you something, whether it be a car or I don't know, some fruit or whatever it is, if they sound unsure, it's naturally going to make you, even if you wanted it, it's going to make you question, like, maybe I don't want this from you because you don't sound sure in yourself. So that's key too.
Yeah. Like, yes, Miss Ariel, like there's no window shoppers. We're not here for that. We're in the business of selling homes. We're in the business of building generational wealth through real estate, And so this NAR settlement has really helped to empower us to be able to help the people that are serious about this. That's the biggest thing. Now I'm hoping, if anybody has any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat. But I'm hoping that what you have learned here from Loran so far will give you the more confidence that you need, right, to be able to support your clients. So in the meantime, let me go ahead and ask my little questions that I got for Loran. So tell me, Loran, like, you've been in this industry way longer than me. Kudos to you, Queen. That's amazing. So tell me, right now with this NAR settlement, what would you say the biggest mindset shift an agent needs to do to be able to believe, in themselves and to be able to be confident, and be in compliance and be competitive in this market against other real estate agents?
Yeah, I mean, it's really about how you sell yourself. And so when it comes to, in some agents, maybe you're not confident in the fact that, because one of the arguments that the litigators were trying to make is that, hey, when an agent is brand new to the industry, why should they get paid? They have the potential to be paid the same amount as somebody who's been in the industry for 20 years. And I remember even when I was new, I would tell people, I'm like, me being newer, because a lot of the agents now that come into the industry, these NAR settlement changes, this is all they know. So they're like, I came into it and this is just the expectation that I've always had. So it's no different. So I remember when I was newer into the industry and you have people that have been in for a while and refuse to change, and they're either practicing outdated practices, they get in more trouble because they think and assume they know everything, and they're out there giving false information. Those tend to be more of a liability. It's like, you really have to be willing to be agile. But when it comes to being new, when you break down and, I believe it's in our buyer toolkit. I should have provided that link too, but a buyer toolkit for EXP, and it's also in the seller's toolkit. But it breaks down the process, like all the different things that the agent has to do. And so I feel like for a new agent too, or somebody who's not as confident, even just looking at that sheet and being like, dang, like, look at all the work that I put in. Like, because sometimes when we get going, you don't pay attention or you forget everything that you're doing. That's an easy way to break it down. You can take that information, provide it to anybody that you're speaking with when you're talking about what you charge and the time that you're putting in. That helps them to realize the value too. Like, wow. I mean, I've had people in the past say, like when they ask, what I'm going to make, and I'm like, oh, I mean, well, ask what I'm going to make. But then later on throughout the process, like halfway through, especially during the market crash, when you have buyers looking at like 50 plus houses, and it's just like, oh, this is perfect, but there might be another house. Let's go look over here. They're like, wait, you're getting paid this much, right? I was like, yep. And I have to split it with the broker and this. And they're like, oh, you're not making enough. Because they're thinking about like all the different things that that I'm doing, the different houses that I'm showing when I'm responding to them. And you still have to set those boundaries too, because that's a part of when it comes to that confidence, if they feel like they can run all over you, and that's any human being, they're going to take advantage of, and they don't see you. You want to make sure they respect your time too. So even as newer agents, I set those boundaries. Like after 8 o'clock, I'm not going to respond, but I'm going to get to you early in the morning. Like I'm on my stuff. So if you're on it and constantly commute, thank you for dropping that toolkit. Okay. And if you're on it and they trust that you're on your game, they're going to respect all of that because they know that you're going to come through at the end of the day and represent their best interests.
Yep, that's very, very true. Very, very true. Listen, we're not tour guides over here, you know? We're
That
really
was
here.
funny.
Yep, we're here to build dreams and make them a reality.
Mhm.
That is for sure. All
Mhm.
right. So my next question for you will be, what do you think an agent should do? As far as the challenges that agents are going through now, what should they do to prepare themselves, for the next, say, year or, 18 months? That will significantly impact their business with this new change.
Yeah, you really have to. I mean, whether it's a new change or not. I mean, because okay, yes, there's the NAR changes, right? But I mean, we cannot ignore what's happening in society right now and with the economy and everything. So even if it wasn't for these NAR changes, just what's going on right now is enough to impact our industry in more ways than one. You just have to stay diligent. You have to keep. So if maybe you were slacking on your networking or like, oh, I really don't want to go to this event, get up and go to the event, make those connections, right? If you need a little, if you need some encouragement, when you go to these events, you get to know people, get your group together, get your tribe together, right? On a local level and hold each other accountable. If you can't afford a coach or something like that, that's okay. Get other like-minded agents that are trying to grow with you and do those things. The broker state teams, they tend to have coffee connections and things like that. Yes, they're virtual. Some of them are in real life. But for those that are just virtual, again, it's up to you agents. You can get together and have those events in real life to hold each other accountable and help to share and glean off of each other. So networking is key. The tools, if your business is a little slower right now, that's the perfect time to start looking at, okay, do I have a CRM? So for one, you do, because EXP provides you a CRM, and you saw the little ad for CRM of choice, right? Whether you want to use Lofty, KV Core, or Close, you have that available to you. That can help you when it comes to sending out email messages to previous clients or promoting your services to future clients with their consent. We don't want to have any TCPA violations or anything like that. And we have resources for that too. Dial Safe is a resource that you have available to you in your My EXP app, to where you can check to see if somebody's name is on the do not call list, because you want to make sure you don't get into any hot water there. But downtime is the perfect time to start building that business plan. And you shouldn't wait. I mean, you should have a set period of time during the year where you start doing that anyway. Typically, people start planning in July. I think of Christmas in July. Start thinking about what you're going to plan to prepare for that so-called slower season, when we get into Q4. So that way you already have some business built up for that. But then also in Q4 is when a lot of people try to fine-tune their business to get ready for after the new year. So it's just constantly planning and building. Take some classes. If you know that you fail or suck at communication, or maybe you need to boost up your negotiation skills, because every time you do get a client, you end up losing them, or, you're not able to get a deal to close. There's different things that you need to invest education-wise in development. So there's always things that you can do, not just to keep yourself busy, but to help build you towards the growth in your business.
Yes, it's very true. And, to your point, you talked about networking. So that's so important. And everybody here knows that MBA Realtor is an introvert. I claim it. I'm an introvert.
Yeah. I tend to, venture more on the introvert, but I can be, if I need to be extrovert, but I only have a time period before I just kind of zone out or whatever. But yes, you got to do what you have to do, At the end of the day, as long as you love people, or at least like people, I will say, what was it? It was about last month. We were able to get John Maxwell. He came in and spoke to some of the leadership staff, and it was really nice how he said, like, it just kills me. It kills me when people who don't like people get into people businesses or industries. Like, I'm not going to say you're going to fail every time, but you're not doing yourself a service or the potential clients, right? So as long, you need to like people, if you don't. And the thing about real estate, this industry is so multifaceted. If you're not a public facing person, you can be a TC, a transaction coordinator. You can make money that way. You can, do the paperwork or be in marketing. I mean, there's lots of money to be made and to be had in this industry, whether you do mortgage loans on the side or work at a title company. Like, there's lots of opportunities here.
There sure is. And you're still making an impact, amongst your community right there. So, like Loran said, get out and network. I went to Inman. I flew all the way to California, which was amazing in San Diego, and just the networking part. I've met so many people. It's almost overwhelming, but it's a good overwhelming because
Exactly.
it put me in connection with people that are going to help me to take my business to the next level, as well as help me to help other people take their business to the next level and help my clients as well. So networking, no matter what, introvert, doesn't matter. Get out there, get your education. Like you did mention about education, and here at EXP, we have how many hours worth of on-demand education in a week? We have a lot of stuff.
Yes.
And so if people are not able to, figure out what to do, tap into education, tap into our tribe. We welcome you with open arms here at Black EXP Network. Just come on. We are here to collaborate with anyone who is about the culture here at Black EXP Network.
There you go. Love that.
Yes. So it's been phenomenal to have you here. If anybody has any questions or anything, you could go ahead and put it in the chat. If not, I am just grateful of the nuggets that I picked up from you. One of the biggest things that you said, and I wrote some notes on this. You talked about the new NAR market statistic dashboard.
Yes.
That sounds like it is a game changer.
Yes.
It sounds like it gives you real-time information, right?
Well, I will put that caveat on there. It's updated once a month. So I'll just put, for real time, you still want to go to the MLS for that, but it is updated once a month. Go on. Yeah.
Okay, got it. And it gives you data on, you said, on the affordability of pricing,
yes,
as well as the trends to help you guide your clients, right?
Yes.
That's a pretty
on a local market level. So not even just based on state, but based on your city. So
yeah. So that's a phenomenal tool right there. I hope everyone was able to find that link to that, because that's going to help you with this shifting market, right? It's going to take out the guesswork of what you should do and how you should do it, and help you to stay competitive so that you can close more deals smarter. That's the whole point of this.
Yeah, the more information that you can share with your clients, again, the more they're going to see you as that expert. And, when it comes to family, we already know, family sometimes, they'll support you, but then sometimes they might feel like, oh, you're not really experienced. If I go with you, I'm just going with you because we're family. It's like, no, I actually know what I'm talking about. I'm actually you want to go with me. So being able to communicate stats and knowledge of the market impresses, friends, families, the stranger, right?
Yeah, that is exactly it. Yeah. So for everybody in the audience, this is what you need to be thinking about going forward, right? What is the number one strategy that you're going to implement, in your business today that you've gotten? Loran has given us some gems right now. So what insight has Loran given you, and strategies that you can now utilize towards your business?
And I'll just say one more thing too.
Sure.
When it comes to the finance class, you walk away building, and it's not difficult. It's not a whole bunch of information or whatever, but you walk away knowing how to build a 1 to 3 year plan when it comes to building your finances and when it comes to your budget. And I even recommend using some ChatGPT to help you as your financial advisor, unofficial. Of course, talk to your CPA, but it's real information that will help immediately. If you're not already doing the things that are suggested in there, it will immediately add more money to your bank account, in the sense that not because you're earning more, but because you're spending less, and you're making more money off of interest that you're building from your high yield interest accounts if you don't already have them. So really, when it comes to financial literacy and impacting the community in general with finances, that's a big piece of it. So.
Yeah, that is awesome. We do need more financial literacy. So thank you for dropping that link to that YouTube. I'm sure people are definitely going to tune in and watch that, because that's information that we all need right now. So thank you, Loran. Thank you so much for your time.
Yep.
It's been amazing having you, Queen. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Michelle. You have a good one.
Have a wonderful day. All right, everyone. Well, like I said, I hope you guys got some information that you could really implement into your business today. One of the takeaways I want you to think about is, what is one thing that you could do right now, right, in the next 24 hours to meet a new client and to build that unshakable trust, so that your client can know, and trust you? What is it that you can implement in your business right now to be able to do that? You got to get outside, got to get your training up, be confident when you're talking to your clients, right? What is holding you back from getting a buyer's representation signed and negotiating, right? Negotiate what your amounts will be and make sure that you know what your value is. and clients will adapt if they trust you. So I am hoping that you guys got some really good gems out of this training today. All the resources that you need is at your fingertips. Here at Black EXP Network, we are here to support you guys throughout your business, and we're here to collaborate with you. So I have had a phenomenal time with you guys, and I'm so hoping to see you again soon. We have so many events coming up here at Black EXP Network. Definitely, I will be at EXPCon. So who's going to be at EXPCon? Please put it in the chat if you're going to be at EXPCon, because I will be there on the yacht enjoying all of that good stuff we have. Last year, it was phenomenal as far as food, as well as the views and the environment and the atmosphere. When I tell you networking is going to take place, EXPCon put me on this platform that I'm on today. Understand that. So make sure that you get outside, okay? Get your tickets. Somebody dropped the link in the chat for the yacht party, because the prices are going to go up, all right? And we have VIP left and things like that. So come on, get yourselves in the building. Let's get all swanky and nice and look good and smell good. And come on, fellas, we need you to come outside. Ladies, do your thing. And let's network together. Let's rub elbows together, shake hands, and really get to know each other besides just the virtual world all the time, okay? So it's been amazing seeing everyone. Oh, I got one more announcement. How can I forget? Agent Accelerator Academy is coming up, y'all. That's one of my babies. Agent Accelerator Academy is coming up, and we are taking applications now. So it's a 6-week intensive program with yours truly will be your host, and I will have various trainers and coaches coming up. When I tell you, this is a couple of $1,000s worth of training that's coming up. And Loran mentioned that, like, as far as having coaches and train, if you can't afford all that, guess what? You can get it here for free. Free 99 is what I'll say. You'll get it for free if you join Agent Accelerator Academy. So fill out the application. It's going to require a video. I told y'all I'm an introvert, but y'all see me on camera every time I show up for this, right? So you can get on camera, give me a little 30 seconds. If you don't give me 30 seconds or more, I'm declining you. I'm gonna tell you that now. So give me a little 30 seconds on why you should join Agent Accelerator and why you should get all of this training, thousands of dollars worth of training for free. All right. So I hope everyone has had a great time. Please sign up for Agent Accelerator Academy, see what it can do for your business, as well as join us in EXPCon. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day, and ciao for now.